What's going on, guys? This is Tyler from Best Class Raids, and I'm here today to bring you the most in-depth and accurate answer I can for how powerful the Eagle Artillery really is. So far, the collective answer around the internet for how powerful this new defense is has been really powerful.
It's confirmed that this thing is going to be an absolute monster.
Well, here at Best Class Raids, I've set out to find the best answer that we can and compare it to other defenses. Before we get into things, let me just say that it is no surprise that we don't have an exact answer on how powerful the Eagle Artillery is, because it is so different from any other defense we've ever had in the game. Its range is insane, 7 to 50 tiles. To give you a perspective, an archer tower has a range of 10. 50 tiles is the distance all the way across your base, and that's all the way across your base on both sides for the Eagle defense. It's safe to say there is nowhere to hide once this thing starts firing. Your only option is to take it out. It also does splash damage and targets troops on the basis of hit point density, meaning it will attack 2 golems on top of each other before it attacks 10 barbarians close together, regardless of where they are in the base. So when trying to compare this defense to something as simple as a max archer tower that does 98 damage per second, it doesn't really compare. But that's where I come in. So first off, the defense says it does 250 and 300 damage per hit. But what exactly is a hit? I wasn't sure if one hit was equal to one cycle or if one ball was equal to one hit. Turns out each ball does 300 damage for a total of 900 damage each cycle. To prove this, here's a dragon getting hit with all 3 balls, ending up with about 60% or a loss of about 1080 hit points, but that's more than 900, and now let me explain why that happened. The dragon was also hit by 2 archer arrows and 2 Tesla zaps. You guys can trust me on this one. I had to go through that little clip frame by frame to make sure I was right, but if you don't believe me, feel free to go frame by frame for yourself. So with the 2 archer tower hits and the 2 Tesla zaps, that would mean the dragon would lost 197 hit points plus the 900 hit points from the Eagle Artillery. Add those together and you get 1097, which is only a tiny bit off of my eyeball estimate of 180, which makes it confirmed that the Eagle Artillery level 2 does 300 damage per ball, 900 damage per cycle. So from here, the math is easy. 900 damage per cycle. Every cycle lasts 11.5 seconds, so 900 divided by 11.5 gives you 78 damage per second. Wait a minute, did we do something wrong? This is a Town Hall 11 defense, and it does 3 more damage per second than a level 11 cannon? That doesn't make any sense. Exactly, and that's why damage per second on this target can be misleading, and most likely the reason no DPS figure is to be found anywhere on the internet. But trust me, I didn't waste your time for no reason. Once we have this DPS, we can start making some adjustments to better understand how powerful this defense really is. So first off, it does splash damage, which means if you have 2 dragons right on top of each other, or say 3 golems really close together, the damage of this defense can double or even triple. And because its targets are based on denser hit points, it makes it almost impossible for your troops to hide. Second, the range is insane. Yes, you must deploy roughly 50% of your troops for it to start firing. An example here is 6 dragons deployed and nothing's happening, but as soon as I drop the 7th dragon or 140 housing spaces, it starts firing. I'm guessing it's just over 50% of your armory space, or somewhere between 120 and 140 housing spaces deployed. This allows your troops to start attacking before the fire starts raining down. But what this means is that if you don't destroy the Eagle Artillery at all, it's going to be very hard to pick things off on the outside of the base. So in the past, I've taken the factors of damage per second, range, and ability to attack air and ground troops, and either increase or decrease the damage per second depending on these factors. For example, the cannon can target only ground troops, so it can attack 13 of 18 total troops out there. So the 98 damage per second of the cannon is then multiplied by 13 divided by 8, giving us an adjusted value of 78 damage per second. If a target can attack both air and ground troops, it can attack 16 of 16 total troops, so it gets multiplied by a factor of 1. For range, because the average range is about 10 tiles for defenses, a range with 11 tiles gets multiplied by 1.1, a defense with a range of 9 tiles gets multiplied by 0.9. Now the Eagle Artillery does have a range of 50, but if we use that, we would inflate the value drastically because a lot of that space is actually off the map. So using a ground expo, we can see that the Eagle Artillery has a workable area of about double that. So we will say that the range is about 28 tiles, giving it a 2.8 increase in damage. Now, factoring in splash damage is tricky. I know I've had 4 golems clump together before in a bad situation, which means the Eagle Artillery could do 4 times its normal damage per second, but that's not the norm for what I've seen and what I've felt with my own videos. Really, it seems 2 troops get targeted all the time, but 3 troops are rare, and 1 troop is also pretty common as well. So let's give the splash damage a factor of 1.9, which seems like a fair number. I know things are getting a little arbitrary here, but unfortunately, there's no clear-cut way or perfect method for predicting the exact damage per second of the Eagle defense. defense, we just have to use estimates. So, taking into account range, air and ground targets, and splash damage, the 78 damage per second is then transformed into 415 damage per second. With that, it would make the Eagle Artillery more powerful than both Max Infernos. Both Max Infernos have a combined adjusted damage per second of 378, which I think is a decently accurate estimate of how powerful the Eagle Artillery defense really is in comparison to other defenses like the Inferno Tower. Now in this scenario, both Max Infernos are set to a multi-target and their range has been factored in. The reason the Eagle defense has a higher damage per second than the Infernos in this scenario basically is because the Infernos do damage very, very quickly, but in a short space. It doesn't take too long for your troops to get hit and then take out the Inferno Towers. That's why the freeze spells work so well against them. The Eagle defense does damage much slower, but for such a long distance, I mean, it could hit you for the entire duration of the raid if you don't take it out. Now, you might think this is overpowered, but really it probably isn't. The Eagle Artillery has a big weakness, and that's the Grand Warden, and especially the Grand Warden's ability. Every troop within the Warden's Aurora gets an HP boost, and he can even make the troops invulnerable with his ability, which is a huge deal when dealing with slow splash damage defenses. Supercell does a really good job of keeping the game balanced, so I think the Eagle Artillery will be offset really well with the new troops. The main thing this defense will do is make a player spread out their troops more, which only makes the game more tactical. Now I know I left out hit points, and I'd like to cover that real quick because the Eagle defense has more hit points than the level 9 wall, and the level 2 Eagle Artillery is equivalent to 1.6 max Expos or 3.5 max cannons, which is pretty crazy and makes it quite a beast to take out. Now I know I probably left some things out. I had to rush a little bit to get this video out in a timely manner, so go ahead and drop in the comment sections anything you think I missed, anything we can improve upon, your thoughts on the Eagle Artillery, or anything else you guys want to talk about. I'll try to respond to some comments, and if you have a raid against an Eagle Artillery, make sure to send it to me at myclashraid@gmail.com. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've got more explanation videos like this if you want to check those out. Make sure to subscribe to see more videos like this in the future. If you want to support me on Patreon and get featured in the credits of new videos, go ahead and check out the link in the description. It'll really help me out, really help me make more awesome videos like this for you guys. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time, and clash on.